0. But you've got an attacher at the front. Oh, you get 3-point or a front loader. No cost. This really doesn't come up with anything special. Let's go have a look at this one. That's a 628. So that's a small engine. That's 0. It doesn't add any extra. It's 184,000 for the tractor. If I go to the mid-size engine, it's going to charge me for the mid-sized engine. 572. So I'm better buying that as standard. It has an attacher. It does. Oh, it does. And I can take it off and I don't get a rebate for it. You have the attacher. It's included in the price. If I go and look at a brand new 9RT, where is the 9RT? That one. Oh, that one comes with an attacher too, but that one comes with the small engine. So if I put the big engine on it, it's another 55,000, making it 443. So I don't know. There seemed to be something weird about at least this, where it's adding the cost of the extension to it, where normally it would have said the price of this is 11,531, and that's it. That's how it's configured. And if you want to take the extension off, you take the extension off, it's still 0. So that's, I don't know, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but it just appears to me that if you're going to add the fitted extras to as additions to the price, just sell me the base equipment and let me choose the extras. If you're going to give me the option, well, that didn't work, if you're just going to say, hey, it comes with extensions and they're going to be 2,050 on the advertised price, or 2,500 on the advertised price. It's not the advertised price for a used piece of equipment. It's an addition. If I go to a car dealership, for example, they are, on their used cars, they're saying we want to sell this car for $12,000 and it comes with all of these things. So if it doesn't come with a tow package, I might want to say, well, can you add the tow package? And they'll say, yes, the vehicle's $12,500 and it'll cost another $500 to install the tow package. Okay, fine. That's fine with that because it's something I want. If it's already fitted on the vehicle, then I don't expect them to say, yeah, the car's $12,500, but because it's got a tow hitch, we're going to charge you another $500. Sort of, but it's already there. Why are you charging me extra for it? I could say, can you remove it? Which is kind of crazy. At which point they'll say, sure, but the vehicle's still $12,500 because they've now got a used tow hitch package which is no use to them. That does make that 9RT kind of a cool purchase. Not that I can really justify it at this stage, but you know, full horsepower, 600 horsepower tractor. For about the same price as my Valtra cost me. Okay, 14.9. About 1.5 buckets. So, as far as computer gaming goes, not doing a whole lot of stuff for computer gaming right now. Just Farming Simulator. I have been watching, with a little interest, the release points on Starfield. I am... Back in the day when we used to have a role-playing club that I went to, my preference was sci-fi role-playing games, not Dungeons and Dragons. Everybody did Dungeons and Dragons. Not many people did sci-fi. Problem is, because not many people did sci-fi, I tended to be the referee, games master. But we did have a fair amount of fun blowing things up and doing all the fun things in spaceships. So generally when it comes to games, I tend to prefer the science-based games to the fantasy-based games. So Starfield more my cup of tea than Baldur's Gate 3 or something like that. And Starfield's kind of looking interesting. They have you can build your own spaceship out of modules. I think the thing is, all the spaceships look like they're going to look pretty much the same. It's the same frame with different with attachment points, and you can plug modules onto the side. But since you need a sort of a central hub and a bridge and some engines, the general layout looks to be fairly the same. A big ship looks like a small ship, but with more modules attached to it. Ground combat seems to be more free-flowing than, say, a turn-based RPG would be. I mean, I think something like Baldur's Gate, you move, you shoot. Your next character moves and shoots. Kind of like XCOM. And so, I don't know. I enjoyed Elite Dangerous when it came out. Wasn't quite so taken with Elite Dangerous on planets, and I think part of that was to do with the engineers. They brought in the engineers. You had to grind materials for engineers. But if you wanted your ship to be the best that it could be, you had to have engineered equipment. And if you were playing in a PvP environment, if you didn't have engineered equipment, you were at a huge disadvantage over everybody else who had equipment engineered. So I kind of lost interest when they said, yes, in order to do anything, you've got to grind 3,000 hours just to make a best that it can be hyperdrive. And then you've got to grind another 3,000 hours for the best gun that you can have. And it was just, yeah, I'm a casual player. I want to come in, I want to play, and I don't want to be totally disadvantaged because I don't have the ability to invest 24/7, 365 in a game. That's why I like things like Farm Sim. I can turn up on a Saturday, I can play some, I can make a little bit of money, I can buy some equipment or a new field or something, and then I can come back next week when I have more time. I don't feel... It's one of the detractors of something like World of Warships, which I have played frequently in the past. But it's like, if I want to receive the best, or enhanced rewards, money and experience, I need a premium account. But why am I paying $100 for a premium account for a year if I don't play the game at least 10 times a month? you know, that premium time is being wasted. So if you don't have a premium account, you've got to put in far more hours investment in order to level up your ships and unlocks on the next ship, next piece of equipment for your ship and all of that. And you don't have quite the same amount of money to purchase the upgraded ships and equipment and stuff. Oh, that did actually uncover all the way to the end. That's good. Same with World of Tanks, or what else was there? Armored Warfare, I think War Thunder. You have to have a lot of time to investigate into one of those games. I don't have a lot of time, so even when I was playing them, I played one. I played World of Tanks until World of Warships came out, and then I said, okay, I just don't have the time to play World of Tanks. And you have to play them fairly regularly to keep your eye in, be good at it. And since it's a online combat game, if you're going to have fun, you kind of want to be fairly good at it, or at least mediocre. And it can get frustrating when the game just sticks you up against people who are just blatantly cheating. But if you're fairly good at it, you can you can offset that to some degree. I mean, way back when I played Ultima Online, I wasn't particularly good at it, but I was good enough that I could go to a mining area and do some mining. And when people just created, I'll create a grief account, I'll create a basic level warrior, and I'll go and steal all the stuff off the miners. You weren't going to win on that matter. I was going to beat you, I was going to kill you, and you're going to have to come back to get your basic equipment again. So good luck with that. And more than once I chased off a couple of griefers who were just killing the people who wanted to mine and make stuff. A plate thing, Unfortunately, we played my wife and I played Earth and Beyond. We did get involved in a guild, but unfortunately EA Games, I don't think they're really into the MMO mindset. The thing that keeps most people interested in an MMO is the progressive storyline and and the group play. You make friends, you play with those friends, and it can be a lot of fun. Now with Earth and Beyond, you were a little bit hampered, because if you wanted to sell stuff, you kind of had to sit as a space station and just shout that you had things for sale, or you could make people things. There wasn't really much of a bazaar available, so it was kind of restrictive in that manner. However, being part of a guild, everybody had the ability to make something. So if you wanted a decent laser made, there was someone who could make you a laser, and he'd be like, oh yeah, just let me get the bits, and or can you provide me with, and I'll make you a thing. But if you didn't have that group, then you didn't have the ability to get good equipment. And then, EA Games just stopped doing storyline updates, and people stopped playing, so the subscriptions went down. So they kind of said, oh, this isn't making us money anymore. They were hoping, I think, to sell the game and sell subscriptions, which at the time people said, yeah, we'll pay a subscription because obviously you have to pay for your servers. And we accept that that costs you money, so we'll subsidise that by paying a monthly fee. But in return, you're giving us progressive content. And when EA Games kind of said, oh, we were hoping to just release the game, and then you'd pay a subscription forevermore, and it would be like we'd never have to put out money again to do any enhancements. Sort of, yeah, no, that's not how this deal works. And so people left. And so they said, oh, we're not making as much money as we thought we would, we shuttered the game. Our team pretty much all moved off to play Star Wars Galaxies, which was a little bit better set up. You could have your own private vendor, so you could make stuff, stick stuff on your vendor to sell, and people could come and visit your vendor. You didn't have to be online 24/7 making and selling stuff. But with Sony, they screwed up. The game was fun at the beginning, and you could get a second character, Jedi character slot, if you unlocked it, and you had to experience a lot of the game to unlock that character. But really, you didn't have to. You could have fun being a droid builder, or you could have fun going out and fighting the intergalactic war, or whatever. But it was, there were lots of things you could do without unlocking Jedi. Jedi were incredibly rare. You saw someone running around with a shiny stick, that was kind of once in a lifetime thing. Then they did, I think it was the combat upgrade. That was okay again. They created a different avenue to unlock Jedi. So Jedi became a little bit more common, but it was still a chore to unlock them. And so, it is what it was what it was. And then they completely rewrote the game so you could roll a Jedi as a starting character. And they made character archetypes rather than profession based. So you in the sort of the middle era, you could be a pistolier droid maker. So you could do a little combat and you could make droids if you wanted to. It was a viable option. You could make a fair amount of money selling droids, and you could do basic combat with your pistol. And, no two characters were the same. But when they changed it, it became, there's 9 character archetypes, everybody's the same. Makes game balance easy, makes the fun of it less so, and because I'd been playing the game for 2 years by that point, I had screwed up my standing with various factions quite badly. Some factions I was incredibly friendly with, and some factions would shoot me on sight. And the problem was that they turned it into a quest-based game, so in order to get the most experience you needed to complete quests. And it's like, oh, now you have to go off to Jabba's palace and complete this quest line. Slight problem, I can't go to Jabba's palace because he's going to kill me on sight because he hates me. So my progression is hampered, and at that point a lot of people, for 2 reasons, the character archetypes and the and the quest system and the requirement, if you were going to do the storyline quest, to have starting character faction with everybody. And if you'd been playing for many years, you didn't have starting level faction with everybody. It just made the game pretty much unplayable, and a lot of people left for both of those reasons. From there we went on to EverQuest 2, which was fun initially, and then every year you would get an expansion. Here's an extra 10 levels you can level your character to, and here's some special quests to get special tokens which will get you basic raid level equipment, and you can go on raids and get the premium equipment. And after you'd done that for like 3 times, it's like, oh, they've released another expansion, there's another bunch of special tokens to get so I can get basic equipment. They turned off the subscription model and made it free to play, and you had to pay to equip stuff. And at that point, no, that's not what I'm playing. If I find something, it's nice, I should be able to just put it on. Not, oh, you've got to pay $50 to put this piece of armor on. No. I'll stick with the crap armor. In which case, I'm not experiencing the game, in which case, I'm done. So most of us quit that and never went back. And again, Sony sold that off to someone else, and the game is not what it used to be. They didn't retain subscribers, they didn't have enough people who were willing to stick their hands in their pockets in order to equip the latest weapon or piece of armor that they'd just found. And they've ended up deleting half of their servers. Not sure ours still exists anymore. But I just got bored with it, because it was the same thing over and over again. Oh, this expansion I get to beat up on giants and get special tokens. Next expansion I get to beat up on dragonkind and get special tokens. This one I get to beat up on fishmen. And it was just sort of, well, it's a different set of pixels with exactly the same set of missions. Because you have no... what's the word for it? You have no innovation. And it's something that I enjoyed with pen and paper role-playing games, is no session was ever the same. You earned what you found. And some of us as referees used to, you're going to find the sniper laser blaster with the premium scope. Guess what? The bad guy who you're stealing it off of is using it against you right now. So you have to survive it in order to earn it. There were, a lot of people who would just say, yeah, okay, there's a room full of orcs. You kill the orcs. Yeah, the orc has a +1 longsword. Why wasn't the orc using the +1 longsword against you? It was in a chest somewhere, because this nice shiny sword, the orc said, oh no, I'd much rather use my basic rusty sword. Or a club. Sort of, no. Leader of the orcs would be using the nice shiny sword that does additional damage and hits more often, because it's better balanced, or it's magical. Keep doing that. So yeah, role-playing game rewards can be because you just had to face off against it. And there isn't, with a human referee, there isn't one way to do something. The referee might have given you all the things you need to do it the way he thought to do it. But if you come up with another idea, it's valid. So yeah, I used to break one guy's dungeons quite frequently, and he wrote killer dungeons. Yeah. There was one, we were the third group to ever play in it. He'd had the dungeon for like 10 years through school and came to college, and he said, oh, I'd like to try this one on you guys. And he and I thought on the same level. So when he introduced these really complex tracks and trips and clues and what have you, I was just like, yeah, okay, this is what we're going to do. And the people who ignored me ended up dead, and the people who said, he seems to know what he's doing, got to the end. We actually got to the end with half the party. And up until that point, I think the furthest anyone had got was halfway through the dungeon before the last person had died. And we made it with half the party. So that was a success. I should probably turn the lights on this as well. But he had a lot of fun with us because we were outthinking him. Or we weren't outthinking him, I just had the same warped imagination that he had. But a lot of the solutions I came up with, he's like, oh, I didn't think of doing it that way. But what you've come up with is perfectly valid. So